So remember, we started off our thought experiment by imagining that we were just hired by Google and tasked with organizing every website in the world. So let's step back and examine the web page we made. So there are only 23 lines of code here. This is as simple as web development is going to get. This is nice and simple basic HTML code, and yet we have a fully functional website. Now, in all fairness, I did add 9 lines of CSS code to our site just to style the website a little bit, mostly just to make the navigation bar horizontal and to make the website look better in our video slides. But again, this is pretty much it. Now, if you were a Google engineer and every single website in the world followed this simple format, then cataloging the web would be pretty easy. You'd just write a simple computer program that would look for the positions of our HTML tags, all of the HTML tags we discussed in this class. Then the bot would just parse up this text into a database table and move on to the next web page. If this was how the web worked, then cataloging the web would be easy. But now let's talk about the real world. In the real world, Google engineers don't get to organize neat little HTML websites like this. No, what they have to organize is something more like this. Just an insanely complicated sea of HTML, CSS, Flash, embedded media, JavaScript, jQuery, etc., etc., etc. This is often what the code of a real web page looks like. It's big and complex and difficult to parse, and it almost always contains several markup mistakes. So this is why Google has to hire smart people. These programmers need to be smart because they need to teach Googlebot to read a web document like this and somehow manage to organize and make sense of this info. So Googlebot needs to find your article title, locate the important keywords, follow every link on the page, attempt to build a logical navigational hierarchy, and a million other things. And all of this before we even get to the hard part. This is all just syntax. The hard part is analyzing the document content itself and trying to understand its semantic nature. But in any case, I hope you can appreciate the complexity of the job these programmers have. Programming these bots, Googlebot, web crawlers, spiders, can be very, very, very tricky. It's pretty easy to teach a bot to read something like this, our example website, but it's very difficult to teach a bot to read something like this, a real world website. This is why the job of an SEO guy is so pivotal in web design. The programmers make the website functional, the graphic designers make it pretty, the copywriters make it sell, but the SEO guys ensure that the web content makes sense to the search engine bots. Googlebot is going to come to our website and look for the important HTML components when we are, quote, SEO optimizing a website, and simply making sure that the site contains these foundational attributes is paramount. So regardless of what the programmers and graphic designers do to the website code, your job is to make sure that the fundamental SEO principles we discussed in this class ultimately are resonant in the final web document. As you get more and more into SEO, you'll become increasingly aware of how very few websites in the world are built with even the most basic on-page SEO principles in mind. In fact, building up this intuitive awareness is a big part of the job. The web designer or the client, they're going to show you their website, and you need to try to ensure that it at least contains formatting similar to our theoretical ideal SEO optimized website, but without compromising the client's aesthetic goals. You need to see his website like Googlebot sees his website. Now, this sort of task-specific perceptive awareness applies to pretty much every trade. When a layman observes an environment, he's using a much different set of eyes than when a skilled craftsman observes an environment. And it's a very common trope in Hollywood movies. You'll remember in The Matrix how Neo eventually learned to see the Matrix for what it really was. Or there's the final scene in The 13th Floor when the main character, Douglas Hall, sees his simulated world as it really is. Both of these guys have achieved a level of knowledge such that they are able to see the underlying computer code that comprises their environment. And that is similar to the skill you'll nurture as you learn on-page SEO. With practice, you'll eventually develop this learned eye with the ability to see beyond the website's mere aesthetic veneer and see the website as Googlebot sees the website. The ultimate goal here being to achieve this harmony of form and function that pleases the human users as well as the robot users.